Hey, welcome back to John's Kitchen. Tonight we're going to be making fish tacos. Well, they're not fish tacos as it turns out. They are shrimp tacos. And I'm going to do it with a couple ingredients that I want to show you, and then we're going to actually show you how I make it. So a couple things to know: when you're making shrimp tacos, most of the work is actually in the prep, because you want to have all the ingredients that are going inside the tacos. So there's a lot of prep involved. So one thing I like to do with that is I like to have my prep bowls. I have a couple different sizes of prep bowls here, so I can put different things in there. The ingredients I'm gonna make tonight. So the shrimp, I actually got this from Wegmans. This is Wegmans organic shrimp. They're peeled and deveined and organic, and it really wasn't that expensive. There's 80 calories per serving. I've used about half the bag. There's 4 servings, by the way. There's half the bag, so literally the shrimp is about 160 calories, so that's not bad. I'm gonna chop up a little bit of this red onion that was left over from previously making guacamole. That's a separate video. I'm gonna create some lime slices to squeeze over it. I have a little tomato that came from my garden, so I'm gonna chop that up. And I have queso fresco, which I'm gonna crumble up and use in the taco. And then of course I have these little street taco, little tiny flour tortillas. So these are kind of nice and make some really good, I mean, they're really kind of tiny, right? So, you know, you can't eat just one. And of course, from the previous video, if you watched it, is guacamole. So have that homemade here as well. So I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna focus in on what I'm actually doing, and we're going to do all the prep work here, and then we're gonna end up cooking it. Oh, the one thing I forgot to tell you. So this is actually chilies and adobo sauce. This is actually some leftovers that I had from previously. Super hot, super spicy. This is gonna provide all of the flavor and heat on the shrimp. I might throw a little bit of garlic in there. I have 1 garlic clove. I'm probably gonna mash that up and stick that in there as well. But this is really all the flavor that I'm gonna put in there. So I'm kind of making this recipe up as we go. So here we go, let's see how it goes. Okay, we're gonna start with some of the prep work. If you hear funny noise in the background, by the way, that's actually my dog eating. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna, this is kind of like one of the ways I like to sort of do onions. So I slice it, I leave one end on, I slice it almost all the way through, and then once I do this, it's really, really easy. So, super simple. This, by the way, is one of my Cutco knives. Highly recommend Cutco knives. So that's as simple as that is. Cut 1.5, and there we go. We've got some nice onions to go in there. That'll go one of my larger prep bowls. So onions in that one. Then tomato. This is from the garden, so you never know what you might find inside. Well, turns out nothing alive, so that's a good sign, right? And tomatoes. That's it. We'll do a little lime here. Create some lime wedges, just so I can squeeze them over each of my tacos. And you know, if there's anything left over, lime wedges go pretty well in your rum and coke. So got lime wedges here as well. And then the last thing I'm going to, oh nope, I got to do a little bit of cheese. So I've got this queso fresco. I don't need the entire thing, so I'm just going to take a portion of it here. And at this point, honestly, this is kind of a crumbly cheese. So you see that? So it's not even about cutting it. It's just about crumbling it up, and then you can put it on the tacos as you make it. So crumbly cheese, all set. And then the final thing, well, 2 other final things. One is just going to get this garlic ready, because that's going to actually go in the pan when I'm cooking. Leave that on the side here, put that in the pan in a moment. And then the other thing are these chilies with adobo. I only need 1 of these things. They are so incredibly hot and spicy that it is going to flavor this entire thing. So it's got, as a matter of fact, it's so spicy that it's gonna be killer because it's almost making my eyes water just standing here next to it. So next stop, over here to the cast iron skillet, and let's get some shrimp in the pan. So welcome back. We're getting ready to cook here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is actually, I always keep my little jar of bacon grease. Yeah, I know, bacon grease. So I don't need a lot, just a little bit of bacon grease, give it a little bit of flavor, and season the pan. So we'll let that melt for just a moment. We've got the cast iron skillet going here, and that's gonna melt. Then we are going to grab the tongs, the cast iron skillet going here. So here we go. Shrimp, in we go. Shrimp are pretty easy to cook. You don't want to overcook them. They're very easy to overcook. So just as you're cooking shrimp, just be aware that it doesn't take very long to get them to cook. And it's pretty much just until they're turning pink. As you can see, they're starting to turn already. Yeah, look at that. It's pink, so let's just turn them over real fast. A couple of them are not quite ready, but we will mix them around here in a minute. And if you remember, we had that adobo sauce earlier, so we're going to go ahead and add that in here. So I'll throw in the adobo, I'll throw in the garlic, and the shrimp is almost done, if you can believe it. It's done already that quickly. So now at this point, it's just making sure that that one's not done. I got one here that didn't want to cook. Yeah, you're going back in the middle. So there we go. So these things are almost set. I definitely do not want to burn the garlic, but we're going to just kind of season them here a little bit. And honestly, that's it. So I'm gonna turn off the fire so that they don't cook too much, and then we'll take them off here and we'll get going. In the meantime, since the fire's off on that, the next step really to make the tacos, I have my griddle warmed up. So you just want to heat your tortillas a little bit, get them warm. So I'm just going to throw some tortillas on there, get those things warm, and we'll assemble our tacos in just a moment. I don't want to forget, we actually have fresh cilantro that I just picked from the backyard, and realizing that I'd forgotten about this earlier. So it needs to go in two places. One, I'm gonna dice this up real fast. And honestly, a small pinch of this cilantro is actually going in my guacamole, which I forgot to do earlier. So go ahead and add the cilantro in the guacamole. Now we're actually gonna make a taco. So we're going to take just these warmed tortillas, and we're going to start with a little bit of guacamole. I like to put the guacamole down first, kind of holds everything together. 2 or 3 shrimp, it's looking good there. A little bit of cojita, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of onions on there, a few tomatoes, and finally a squeeze of lime. And there is your shrimp fajita. Not shrimp fajita. We're not even gonna do a double take for that. There's your shrimp taco, right there. And welcome back. It's time for the taste test. So here we have the whole taco assembled. Let's see how it is. It's absolutely delicious. Definitely a good choice for this evening. Entirely inspired, frankly, by the fact that I had cilantro growing on the back deck and I wanted to use some up. So, enjoy.